Good evening, hockey fans. Good evening, Badger fans. Thanks for packing the Kohl Center tonight to honor an American sports legend, the most distinguished hockey player in the history of the University of Wisconsin, Mr. Mark Johnson. You know most of the numbers, right? 125 goals, 256 points, 125 games. He was a two-time All-American, 1977 WCHA Rookie of the Year, won a national championship that season, the Badgers' second, the 1979 WCHA Player of the Year. That followed his amazing career at Madison Memorial High School, where he won a state championship. Oh, he was also the leading scorer for the United States national team that beat the Soviet Union. Beat the Soviet Union in the Miracle on Ice, and then finished off Finland to win the gold medal at the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid 39 years ago this month. He was a captain, he was an all-star in 11 seasons in the National Hockey League. He learned to love the game from his father, Badger Bob. He was an assistant coach to Jeff Sauer. He was the head coach of the U.S. women's national team that won a silver medal in the Winter Olympics in 2010 in Vancouver. And he's the winningest coach in women's college hockey history with 4 NCAA titles for the Wisconsin Badgers, and soon to be 5. Tonight we celebrate Mark's accomplishments. Above the rink that bears his father's name, we'll see the number 10 lifted to the rafters, the first Badger hockey player to be so honored. Joining us tonight on this special occasion is Mark's very large family, including a couple of former UW standouts, Peter Johnson and Jesse Vetter McConnell. Also with us tonight is Mark's high school sweetheart and wife of 38 years, Leslie Johnson. And I wish she had her cowbell. She is the matriarch of the Johnson family, the very first lady of Badger hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, Martha Johnson. We begin our celebration tonight. I'd like to introduce the athletics director at the University of Wisconsin, Barry Alvarez.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mark. Mark has achieved greatness in the game of hockey. At every level, as a player and a coach, starting as his days as a standout at Madison Memorial, here at the University of Wisconsin, the Miracle on Ice, and in the NHL, and now coaching our women's hockey team. He's been a terrific representative for the university, the city of Madison, the state of Wisconsin, and the country. I'm pleased to see so many of Mark's family, especially his mother Martha, here today, along with former teammates and friends. I know that Mark's late father is very proud of this moment. Mark has accomplished so much here at Wisconsin. I'm thrilled that we're recognizing him in this way, and I can't congratulate him enough. Congratulations, Mark. Job well done.
Also with us on the ice here tonight, the Wisconsin men's hockey team, which is getting ready to beat the Buckeyes here tonight. And the Wisconsin women's hockey team, which knocked off Minnesota State today 7-2 for its 25th win of the year. And in preparation for this ceremony, Mark's friends and former teammates were asked to share their memories and tell us about the man that many of us know as Magic. So please direct your attention to the video board as we take a look at Mark's magical career.
When hockey is in your blood, pumping through your heart and running through your veins, you live it, you breathe it, you need it. Mark Johnson was born to play hockey.
First met Mark back in 1980 before the Olympics. And when I saw Mark, I saw a guy who was just very steady and very solid. Obviously, he'd come from a hockey family.
I remember seeing Mark, I think he was around 16, and he came out for the World Championships. And I was at Boston University at the time, and I'm thinking, wow, is this kid a good player?
Part of Mark's upbringing was that, he got to be around Bob a lot. And like when Bob was coaching the Olympic team, he got to skate with him.
What was Bob Johnson doing? He was watching the Russians. He was watching what was going on with the Swedes and the Finns and the Czechs. At the dinner table, can you imagine Bob talking about, the Russians, they're one touch in the pass, they're shooting off the pass.
When he stepped on the ice and you could see him shoot and score, it's like, this young man's pretty special.
Into the crease, goal, Mark Johnson.
Probably weighed 160 pounds, but he could shoot the puck harder than anybody on the team. He had the best shot on the team.
He wasn't the biggest of guys, but his hockey intelligence was off the charts, and he was fun to watch. He was fun to be on the ice with.
You just saw the ice, how quick he was, but boy, he was just so smart and clever, knowing everything about the game. They talked years ago about Larry Bird being able to see the whole court. That was Mark on the ice. He could see everything.
Here we go as the game is underway. The Soviet Union in red and the United States in white.
Preparing for the Olympics, Mark Johnson, I thought, might be our best player.
For Americans, that's the number one, the biggest event in hockey history. And Mark Johnson was the best player on the 1980 Olympic team.
13 seconds left in the penalty. We shot it in. Mark Johnson, they score!
If it wasn't for Mark Johnson, we don't win the gold medal in 1980. He was the man. When we needed a goal, we needed a play. Magic was the one that did it for us.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
He was a tough little nut, too, in terms of, you figured he played 12 years in the National Hockey League, not the biggest guy, in an era where you could do a lot more back then you can in today's game, and he played 11, 12 years. So that combination of the thing made him very special as a hockey player.
To have Johnson be the first hockey jersey to be hanging in the rafters at the Kohl Center, quite a nice thing to see.
Mark, this is a tremendous honor. It's so well deserved. Loved watching you play. Congratulations, Steve, my man.
Mark, you've clearly made an impact in the hockey world and on this community. Tony Granato said this week that no one from any college or university has accomplished more in any sport at any level as a player and coach while doing so with dignity and humility like you have while representing the University of Wisconsin. Before we proceed, the Badgers have a special gift for you, so come on up here. The Badgers have a special gift. A Wisconsin native currently wears number 10. Upon learning the news that your number was going to be retired to the rafters here, the team made a decision that starting tonight, with the support of his teammates and coaches, freshman defenseman Ty Emberson is giving up the number 10 to honor the contributions you have made to the program. Ty? Ty pricked a pretty good second number, 21. All right, so I know you're here for this special presentation. To help raise the number 10 to the rafters, I'd like to introduce one of Mark's best friends, his former college roommate, a groomsman at his wedding, an NCAA champion, a Stanley Cup champion, a charter member of the Anaheim Ducks, and for 40 years he's been an NHL executive. Please welcome back former Badgers goaltender David McNabb. And again, if you would please turn your attention to the video board, we've got a special message from one of Mark's favorite people.
Hey Badger fans, I'm Megan Johnson, a senior at Augsburg University. I wish I could be there with you tonight, but Dad, I just want to let you know, I'm so proud of you and everything that you've accomplished. I can't think of anyone more deserving to get this honor. Although I can't be there in person, I do have the honor of this. Will everyone please direct their attention to the south end of the ice as my siblings, Doug, Chris, Patrick, and Michaela, present the number 10 banner. Congratulations, Dad, on Wisconsin.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison, Wisconsin, number 10, Mark Johnson.
Wow. First of all, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight and help myself and my family celebrate certainly a special occasion. Unfortunately, my dad obviously isn't here, but I know he's here in spirit, and I think what makes it special is not only having my mom here, but having my dad's name on the ice, and certainly very emotional, and I'm very thankful. And so I want to thank Coach Alvarez, Jason King, and everybody in the athletic department for putting together such a unique and special evening for myself and my family. Obviously, my family, big part of growing up, and obviously had a big impact on my career here at Wisconsin. Certainly want to thank Dave McNabb for taking time out of his busy schedule and coming back and sharing in tonight's evening. I want to thank Tony and his staff. I know they had quite a bit to do with getting this whole thing organized and making it come to fruition here. I want to thank my Lady Badgers for a great game today. Makes the evening way better. I also want to thank some of my former teammates that I played in on the Olympic team, Buzz Harrington, Dave Christian, John Harrington, who are in attendance today. So we had a great ride together and certainly have great friendships that we had. But I told a group of friends about an hour ago, growing up in Madison, getting an opportunity to skate around Madison and having a chance to watch Badger hockey at a young age. We moved here when I was 8 years old. I became a stick boy. It wasn't about maybe getting to the NHL or getting an opportunity to play at the NHL. That never crossed any of our minds, especially the players here in Madison. Our biggest dream was try to get an opportunity to play at Wisconsin. And so we grew up at the Coliseum, watching hockey Friday night, watching hockey Saturday night, lugging sticks back, watching practices, getting an opportunity to watch Badger hockey. And at this reception a little while ago, a lot of my idols were at that reception, and it's brought back a lot of wonderful memories. And really thankful that I was fortunate enough that I had a father not only coached hockey, he coached football, he coached baseball, and he was an encyclopedia, and I was a student of his, and I got to watch a lot of things firsthand. And without his ability to teach the way he did, and without his positive attitude, I never would have became the player I became. But through the hockey schools, through his friendships and the different coaches that he surrounded myself with, it gave me an opportunity to appreciate hockey and get an understanding of what it was if you wanted to become a good player, what you needed to work on. So I had a lot of wonderful people in front of me, coaches that understood the game, coaches that knew how to teach the game, and it's a long list. I can't do justice to it, but just to give a few names: Dave Peterson, longtime Olympic coach, high school coach in Minneapolis, a gentleman by the name of Tony Frasca, who taught me how to stick handle. I look at Grant Stanbrook, who was recognized last night, had a big influence on me and making me a better skater and an overall player and a better person. And you know, you go down the list of Bill Howard. When we grew up, as I was telling people, you know, we wanted to be Bert DeHate. We wanted to be Max Bentley. We wanted to be Timmy Dool, Norm Sherry, Stan Hinckley. You know, different players that were wonderful players here at Wisconsin in the early days. I wanted to skate like Gary Winchester. And then a guy by the name of Dean Talifas came along, wore number 17, and I idolized him. I thought, holy cow, this guy won a national championship for our Badgers in 1973. I want to be that guy. And so we lived that dream, and for a lot of us in Madison that had a dream of playing for the Badgers one day, I was one of the few that got that chance to do it. And when I started my career in 1977, I was so excited to play my first game and go in front of those fans at the Coliseum and get an opportunity to play in front of them. And I was telling people that first game we played Michigan, we lost 7-6 in overtime. I ended up missing a penalty shot that night, and I walked out of the Coliseum that night crying because I let my teammates down, and more importantly, I let the fans that I wanted to play in front of down. And so it started off rough, my career, but at the end of that season, we ended up beating Michigan in the national championship. I was fortunate enough to And I was fortunate enough that year. We had a deep team. We had a good team. We had a lot of great players. A handful of them went on to play in the National Hockey League, but Steve Alley and John Taft, two of our captains that year, had come back from the '76 Olympics in Innsbruck, which my dad coached. We had great leadership along with Mike Eves, and if you look at that roster, I mean, you go down to the 15th or 16th player, and we scored a lot of goals that year, so it was a lot of fun. So I was fortunate, lucky to play with a lot of good players that first year. And certainly I want to thank all the alumni players that came back. We got a chance to run into them a couple hours ago, and it was great to see some familiar faces, people that we don't get a chance to run into very often, but it was great to see them come back. Certainly want to thank my teammates that I got an opportunity to play back from '77 to '79, and certainly without a lot of them helping me along the way, I never would have been able to have the success that I had in the 3 years. And certainly the Olympic team players, one thing I learned about our Olympic team, if you put your egos outside the locker room and you really become a team as you play as a unit and you play for one another, big things can happen, and we saw that all take transpire in 1980. Keep it short and sweet, so I'm going to end it on this. The biggest reason I wanted to play for Wisconsin and the passion and the love for Badger hockey that I knew at a young age was because of the fans. You went out Friday night, 8,000 people at the Coliseum. You went back Saturday night, and it was a different 8,000 people, and I saw firsthand the relationship between a hockey team and a group of fans that loved hockey. Early on, when my dad first came, I'm sure a lot of people understood hockey or what it meant to change lines and different things, but as he grew, as the program grew, and as the fans grew, it was a special relationship, and I got to see that firsthand sitting right down on the ice between the benches watching a lot of games. And that was one of my passions and drive to try to get an opportunity to play in front of you. So I end this tonight thanking everybody that was a Badger hockey fan then and Badger hockey fans now, and appreciate everything that you did for me as I was growing up in the city of Madison and getting an opportunity to really fulfill a dream come true for me. So thank you very much.